Hello, my name is Dimitri Metzeltin, Technical Sales Manager for Loud Technologies in Europe, and I'm presenting you today the Mackie DL806. Mackie has been known as a very innovative company, and we've been very active in the last couple of years. And last year we presented the DL1608, and now we have an addition to this line. It's called the DL806. So the DL806 comes with 8 inputs. Here on the back side, all balanced inputs. We have 6 outputs in total, 4 auxiliary sends and the 2 master outs. Again, all balanced there. We have a phantom power switch on the back side too. Then on top here you see our gains for the preamps. We're using the Mackie Onyx preamps, very renowned in the business. And we're using Cirrus Logic converters, 24-bit converters, for this digital desk. Additionally, we have a lot of DSP power built inside the desk, so we're not using any DSP of the iPad, but we're using the DSP of the desk. So we don't have any problems with the DSP running low or anything there. Now the whole control surface is based on the iPad, so that's my graphical user touch sensitive interface. And right here you see it also on the screen, on the big screen here. I see my mixer, I see the faders. I can grab a fader, and what you see here is the so-called grow and glow effect. So when I grab a fader, I automatically really have full control over what I'm controlling there, so you have a high visibility. We can also move several faders at the same time, so the software is multi-touch compatible, and additionally we have the standard features which you would find on other mixes like solo, mute, the panning right here. If I double click on the panning, it jumps right into the middle. But there's even more to it. If I click on one of the pads down below here, I hit it, I can give the channel a name. If the name is a bit longer, then it flows through the channel, through this small pad. But I could also choose an icon. For example, if I say, okay, this is a keyboard here, then I choose a keyboard icon. But we go even one step further. We could also take a picture from the camera. So that's what I'll do right now. Take a picture here, say use it, and there I have the picture of me. This might look like a gimmick, but it can be very, very useful. Let's say you're mixing a live band and they have different singers. You don't know them really well, you don't know their names. The easiest thing is you just take your iPad, take a picture of the singers, and then you know exactly which fader and which singer you're putting lower or harder in that case. So very useful feature there. If I move the mixer to the left, if I swipe it to the left, I see a reverb and a delay return. So we have 2 send effects, 2 DSP effects built inside the DL806. And we have an iPad return channel here. So if I want to play back any music out of my iPad, I can do that. Maybe if the band is taking a break and I want to play back some music, I can do that on the iPad return channel here. So this is for the mixer view. On top of the mixer view I see a small EQ icon, and I see that there are some EQ settings there. So there's a lot more under the hood, you can imagine. For example, we have a 4-band full parametric EQ. We can grab these EQs here and make our settings, or you can change the settings here. And we have 4 full parametric bands. As you can change band 4 and band 1, so the highs and the lows between a bell EQ and a shelving EQ right here. So for example, if you're using a bell EQ for the low frequencies, we then still offer a high pass if you want to cut off the even lower frequencies there. So we have a high-pass filter built inside too, and you see a phase invert on top of the EQ right here. Since our latest software version, we don't offer you only one EQ, but we offer two types of EQs. One is called modern EQ, what we've seen right there, a very analytic EQ, but we also have a vintage EQ that looks a lot like a Neve EQ, and it sounds also a lot like a Neve EQ. So here we change our gain settings, the frequencies. We have a high-pass filter built inside. And the very interesting feature here is that the EQs try to mirror each other. This means that you can make a real A/B comparison between the EQs and choose which of the EQs is the right one for the specific instrument that you're setting up there. So if I change to the modern EQ, you see that all the settings have been changed there. Go back again, and you see again another EQ setting there. So this is a very useful feature to really then decide on which EQ would sound better on a specific instrument. We have preset functions right here. I tap on this presets button and you see the equalizer presets. So the DL806 also thinks for the user, thinks for you, because if you're in the EQ section and you then hit the preset tab, then automatically the EQ presets show up and you can choose any of the presets here, for example electric guitar, recall, yes, and there you have a setting for an electric guitar, for example. And you can go from there and still adjust to your own needs. Okay, what else do we have? We offer a gate and a compressor in our dynamics section. We have the gate here with all the typical gate features, threshold, also a range function built inside, attack, hold and release. And again there we offer a modern and a vintage style gate, and the same thing goes for our compressor. Very nice graphical user interface here. We have the typical parameters for the compressor, like threshold, ratio, attack, gain and so on. And here I can change to a vintage style compressor. In this case we modeled a URI compressor here. So very nice sounding compressor, and again the compressor tries to mirror the settings from the analytic type compressor to the vintage compressor and vice versa. And when we swipe even lower, we see our reverb and delay settings. So instead of going from your channel, from your audio channel to your effect return channel to do the settings there for your reverb and for your delay, you can control all the parameters directly out of your directly out of the channel that you're working in at the moment. So this means you save a lot of time. There are still send effects, but you have the control from within every channel in that case. So you see here the send level. We have all the typical parameters for the reverb, like pre-delay, decay and so on. The same thing goes here for our delay with delay and feedback functions. And here you see the return faders, the return levels for our two DSP effects. And the DL806, as also the DL1608, come with a lot of presets, like different rooms, halls, cathedrals and so on. Same for the delay. If you want to have a ping pong delay, there you go, with a tapping function built inside, so you can tap to the right tempo and set your delay right there. Okay, so we go back to the mixer. If I want to change another channel, there are two ways to do that. I can go out and back to the mixer view, select the EQ of another channel and maybe make some adjustments here, maybe change even the preset of the compressor, for example. Say, okay, this is a male vox, change it, there you go. But I can also move vertically through the channels, just like that. So I'm on channel 4 right now. Now I'm on channel 3. And as you see, the channel fader and the master fader are always visible. So you have always full control over the levels of the mix. So you don't have to go back to the mixer view to control the levels. It's all there all the time. So we now will take a look at the master section. We are now in the master left, right, out level, and all on the right we see a tab where we can change between the aux sends. So for example, I'm now on aux send 2. It's color coded, so I see exactly what I'm doing, and I can change the levels here for the aux 2 or aux 1 with another color again, or back to my master output here. There's even more to it. On all the outputs we offer a 31 band graphic EQ right there with a draw mode, so I can draw in the 31 bands, or I could also change single frequencies here. So this 31 band EQ is built into all the outputs. So on all the auxes you will find also the 31 band EQ, and you will also find a compressor, the same one that you've seen in the channel view. So we have a modern and a vintage style compressor on every output. This is really useful if you're doing a monitor mix. Maybe the band uses in-ear monitoring. Then you could even set up your compressor as a limiter to really go sure that no real loud audio burst happens there and damages the hearing of one of the musicians. So the compressors are also built inside all the outputs. Back to my mixer. There's another very cool feature about the Mackie DL series. They also work wirelessly. Let's say maybe the mixer is not placed in the middle of the front of house, in the sweet spot of a hall, but maybe on the side or even back at the behind the stage. Things like that happen. Now what you can do with the DL series is take your iPad out of the docking. Now it's synchronizing again. You won't hear any audio dropouts or anything because the audio runs cleanly through your DL mixer, and you keep controlling the whole mix wirelessly in this case. So this means as a sound technician you can go out there, take your iPad, make the right settings right at the best spot, or you could go onto the stage, and if you want to ring out the monitors you can do that on stage, even make the monitor settings there for the musicians. That's also possible. But we took it even a step further. You can connect up to 10 iOS devices to your DL mixer. This could be any iPad from version 1 to version 4, but that could also be an iPod Touch or an iPhone. So we have an iPhone here. Just get it synchronized to the DL806. It even synchronizes all the icons, all the pictures in real time, and synchronizes the whole mixer settings in real time. So this is a very cool, useful feature. Thinking of maybe a band doing their own monitor mix, maybe their own in-ear monitoring. Let's say maybe the drummer then uses aux 4 and he wants to do his own monitor mix. Well, then he can take his iPhone and mix his own aux send in that case. And you can lock it. You can lock the features so that the drummer in that case doesn't interfere with the settings of the front of house mix or any other aux settings. So you can lock it down to just using aux 4 in that case. So that's the wireless features. All you need is just a standard wireless router. Hook it up to the Ethernet port of your DL806 or of the DL1608. Connect your iPad to the router, and there you go. A very easy setup there, and always works. What else do we have? Last but not least, we have the shows. The show function is to save your mixer settings. So your mixer settings will be saved in a snapshot, and in the snapshots you save the complete mixer settings, except for the channel saves that you might have set. So if you don't want channel 1 to change at all, you can set a channel save there, and channel 1 then in that case doesn't save if you recall another snapshot. So on top of that we have a show function. In every show you can save up to 99 snapshots. This can be very useful in theaters, for example, or for musicals. But it could also be useful for a sound technician that's who's mixing different bands. Every band could have its own show, and you could save every song of this band as an own snapshot in that case, and just quickly recall it before they start the next song. So a very powerful show function is built inside the DL mixers. So, if you want to know even more about this mixer, you can visit our Mackie.com website to find all the interesting news here, different videos and more information. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. My name is Dimitri Metzeltin.